All praises. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shada. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh. Ba'ashem meaning coming in the name of, and Yahweh Shah, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Gusano, I'm from the dirt, and I remember where I'm from. All praise to the Most High. Without further ado, let's get into this breakdown, family. Columbus, the Conquest, and the Covenant Curses, Part 3. Slavery, Captivity, and Families Torn Apart. Historical evidence. Columbus sent indigenous captives to Spain. In his letters and journal, Christopher Columbus reported sending indigenous captives from the Caribbean to Spain. In 1495, following military campaigns on Hispaniola, approximately 500 Taino were selected to be transported across the Atlantic as slaves. Contemporary accounts report that many died during the voyage, and those who survived were sold into slavery. This marked one of the earliest large-scale shipments of enslaved indigenous people from the Americas to Europe. Joel 3 and 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Joel prophesies that God's people would be treated as merchandise. Their lives would be considered so worthless that children would be exchanged for personal pleasure and profit. More historical evidence. Families were separated as they are today. That's Bartolome de las Casas wrote that the Spanish took men away for labor in the mines, while women remained behind to care for children. Because of the exhausting labor, starvation, and separation, many families were destroyed. Mothers were left without husbands, children without fathers, and many infants died because their mothers could no longer nurse them. Deuteronomy 28:32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Moses warned that parents would watch helplessly as their children were taken away. They would desperately long to see them again, but would have no power to rescue them. More historical evidence. Forced service under Spanish rule. Las Casas described indigenous communities being compelled to labor for Spanish colonists under the encomienda system. The labor was not voluntary. Entire communities were required to serve Spanish masters, often under brutal conditions that led to widespread death from exhaustion and hunger. Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. This prophecy declares that Israel would become servants to their enemies. Instead of living freely, they would depend on those who conquered them for the necessities of life, and would suffer under severe oppression. Just like today, if you want water, you have to go to the other nations to buy water. If you want to eat, or if you want clothes, you have to go to the other nation, right? Other nations for these things. More historical evidence. Captivity and removal from their homeland. Columbus of taking indigenous people from the islands to Spain. Others were relocated within the Caribbean to support Spanish settlements and labor demands. The removal of people from their homes became a defining feature of the early Spanish conquest. Deuteronomy 28 and 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Moses foretold that Israel would have children, but would lose them to captivity. The blessing of family would be replaced by the sorrow of separation. More historical evidence. A people made into prey. Las Casas repeatedly describes peaceful indigenous communities being hunted, captured, and exploited because they lacked the military power to resist the Spaniards. They became victims of those seeking wealth and dominion. Isaiah 42 and 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey and none delivered, for a spoil and none saith restore. Isaiah foretells a people who would be robbed of their possessions, imprisoned, and treated as prey. Their suffering would continue without anyone coming to restore what had been taken. The resources for this are the Diario, journal, diary of Christopher Columbus, Historia de las Indias, a short account of the destruction of the Indies, the life of the Admiral Christopher Columbus, right? Let's take a look at this historical note. And yes, a lot of these scriptures are repeated throughout the series because there are many things to pinpoint within one scripture and they keep being brought up. But anyway, historical note. The shipment of hundreds of Taino captives to Spain is well documented in the historical record. Some specific atrocity claims, such as routine cutting off of hands for tribute failures, are more debated among historians regarding the exact details and sources. Distinguishing well documented events from disputed claims strengthens the historical case. So, with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. That's giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh. Ba'ashim meaning coming in the name of, and Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Shalom, and I love y'all, family.